Creationism, God, and Evolution, a poll. Well, I have watched the Young Turks TYT channel for a little bit. I've watched it come on maybe a couple years after I started posting on YouTube. And I noticed that Sank and his sidekick have a lot of top videos. This one requires a response. Creationism, God, and Evolution. He ridicules people that believe in God and that man was created within the last 6,000 years, which is absolutely true. And so I'm compelled to respond to Sank here on the TYT channel. So Man of Truth is going to respond because it needs to be done. I like to read books. Let's see, there's some there. Kingdom of God. Ezra Jeff Benson, 2012, Fit for Life, Collapse, Died for New America. Here's Zechariah Stitchin, evidently of Turkish origin, that lived in northern Iran. Not sure if I pronounce these right. And there's Sank. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but this requires a response. So, I'm going to respond right here and now, 2 days before Christmas. Sank, you heap ridicule on people that believe in creationism, which is an absolute fact. But, and it's scientific, it's logical, and the more intelligent people become, the more obvious that is. So the glory of God is intelligence, it's light and truth. It's not ignorance. Ignorance can seem to be bliss for a while, and well, basically, Sank, you're fulfilling Isaiah. But let's just cut to the chase and talk about a few things here. You're pretty discouraged that still, I guess, 40% of people believe that mankind was created in the last 10,000 years. Sank, it was roughly about 6,000 years ago, and it's important to expand your mind so you can understand it. Evolution, I think, excuse me, it seems like Darwin's your God, but from my perspective, evolution is lacking evidence of evolution between phyla. So yeah, I don't believe I came from monkeys. In fact, I know I didn't come from monkeys, or an amoeba, or a sloth coming out of the water. I come from God, and it's in the Bible, but you might have to expand your mind a little bit. So here's the bottom line. Kind of expand your mind a little bit, from the same part of the world, I think, where your origination is. And it's important to understand your ancestry, to understand where you come from. Then you can understand your DNA, and it's pretty scientific because you hold traits of your ancestors. There's no question about it. But anyway, and I haven't read all of Zechariah's books. I haven't even read one all the way through. At the same time, he is a proponent, after studying a lot of ancient texts and selling, I think, over 25 million books, that mankind comes from the Elohim, or from another planet. And first of all, so I completely believe, Sank, that you're my brother. And one thing that has expanded my mind is when I drive to California and I'll stop in Nevada between, let's say, Elko and Winnemucca, especially on a clear night, and you look at the Milky Way, and you look at the stars, and you can't help but realize and ponder and contemplate that there's billions of suns out there. Billions of suns. And so to me, it's completely logical, scientific, rational, and intelligent to come to the conclusion that there's other Earths with life out there. And I think it's pretty massively myopic to think that we're the only life in the universe, even the only humans in the universe. So when you come to that conclusion, then you start to think, okay, well, how did we get here? You could go with this insane Darwin stuff that, thin soup and spontaneous generation, throw a bunch of rags out there and all of a sudden you got rats and stuff like that, medieval type thinking. Or you could, advance scientifically somewhat and maybe imagine yourself, let's say you're hanging out with Richard Branson and you say, hey, let's fast forward maybe 500 or 1,000 years. Do you think it's possible to have interplanetary exploration? Sank, is it possible? I think it's not only possible, it's already happened. thousands of times. And so when Zecharia Sitchin or somebody else suggests that there was a group of gods, or Elohim, if you to get into the ancient Hebrew and Aramaic and all that kind of stuff, it's completely logical that there's interplanetary, intergalactical travel. Maybe you need to watch Star Trek to open up your mind. But looking at the stars should open it up. And if that's the case, to me it's so rational and so much more logical and scientific than evolution, at least proposed by Darwin and what evidently your belief is, that there could come somebody from another planet and start things off. That's the most scientific explanation. Let's say you want to start a planet off, or I want to start a planet off. How would we do it? Well, Branson or somebody might have an expansive mind. I mean, a lot of people do. But evidently you lament the fact that there's these expansive minds out there, and you're hoping for more and more closed minds, which is fulfilling Isaiah, so you're getting your wish to a large extent. But at the same time, you cannot extinguish and crush thinking of people like myself and others that know that God actually did create man, and yes, within the last 10,000 years, without question. Without question. So back to that. So you go to a planet. How are you going to go there? Well, probably spaceship, astral travel. Obviously, these are spiritual things, and sometimes you have to have all your chakras opened up to understand these things. Then you're going to go there. What are you going to take? You're going to take a female, right? And then you start it off. Yep. I don't care whether you call it Adam, Brent, Sank, and you take Linda, Margot, Betty, Roberta, lo que sea, whoever you take. But that's the scientific way I think that you would start off a planet. And if the planet was made out of a bunch of fossils that have been been there for a few million years, you wouldn't freak out. At least I wouldn't. So, in defense of all those people that believe that in creationism, which is the true scientific, logical way to think, because it's fact, it's rational, it's real, mankind, came from another planet. Didn't come out of the thin soup, didn't evolve from an alligator, and certainly did not evolve between phyla and evolving from a monkey and apes. That's bullshit. You can believe it if you want, and you can rejoice and even honk your horn on the channel that less and less people believe in reality. But that just fulfills the Bible, fulfills Isaiah, Daniel, etc., etc. Creationism is real. God exists de facto without question. And yes, the gods formed man, came from another planet. It all fits really. And then you got to study, I guess, biology and astronomy. Put those things together. Understand biology, how man is created, how woman is created, how that carries on. And then astronomy to realize that there's planets colliding. There's all kinds of things. And think one thing, if you can't get out of wherever you're at, Los Angeles or New York, I'm not even sure where you're at, but if you can't get out of there and you're just stuck in the city, so you can't drive across Nevada and look up at the stars, just look at some Hubble telescope pictures on the internet, and that should open up your mind to realize that there's billions of suns out there, and probably billions of Earths, like this one or similar, and trillions of people out there. More people than the U.S. government has printed dollars out there in the galaxies. So think big, Sank, but just in defense of those that believe in creationism, which is reality, which, yes, mankind was put on this planet within the last 10,000 years, 6,000 years ago to be precise, and it'll be increasingly obvious as more knowledge comes, and especially at the second coming of Jesus Christ, when the earth will be flooded with truth. I tell you, my brother, right now you're spreading falsehoods, and you have the right to do that. But to rejoice in the lack of intelligence and rejoice that less and less people are believing in reality, you have the right to believe like that. But you're going to have a heart attack if you are hell-bent on people denying God and denying reality and denying what you call undeniable truths. Oh boy, I love living the last days, and thanks for putting out the Antichrist message out there, Sank. It's very interesting to watch you on YouTube owned by Google, and it's very interesting to watch you. So keep going, but my friend, there are those of us out there that know without question that creationism is real. It doesn't matter whether you or if the whole planet or if the next Gallup poll goes up to 99% deny it. It doesn't matter. That does not change the truth. Truth is eternal, it's real, and it is the same yesterday, today, and forever.